and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Julia Baby Booties. These come in 3 sizes. Here I'm going to show you how to make the medium size. So to get started, you need an Aran weight yarn and an H or 5mm hook. Once you make your slip knot, you are going to chain your initial chain stitches. Here I'm doing 7 for this size, and this size is supposed to fit a baby about 6 to 12 months old. So that's what we're starting with. In row 1, you need to start by skipping a chain and then putting a slip stitch into every remaining chain. So this means when you're done, you should be left with 6 stitches in row 1, and all of the stitches that we're counting are those slip stitches. Then once you're satisfied with how that's getting started, you can chain 1 and turn. Then for the next 3 rows, you're going to simply slip stitch in the back loop only for every stitch, and then at the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. This will get you through the next several rows, and then we get to the first increasing row. This time, your first stitch is going to be a slip stitch in the back loop only. Then you're going to do 2 of those in the same stitch. This is our increase. So we just work 2 of those into the same slip stitch from the row before. Then in this size booty, you should have 2 normal slip stitches in the back loop only in the middle. And then the second to last stitch, you'll do an increase again. So just put 2 of those in the same stitch and finish with 1 more normal slip stitch in the back loop only. And then chain 1 and turn, and you've just finished your first increasing row. Now that you've increased, work 5 rows by doing your slip stitch back loop only in all the stitches, and you're still chaining 1 and turning at the end of the row. So these rows should all have 8 stitches in every row. And again, this is for the medium size, so this is gonna fit a baby 6 to 12 months old, and this is what your sole should look like at this point. Once you've done several of these rows and we're past our first increasing row. In our second increasing row, which is what I'm showing here, you're still going to start with a normal slip stitch in the back loop only, and then do 2 in the same stitch. And then in the middle, you are still going to do normal slip stitches in the back loop only, but this time you need to do 4 to get across. And then again in the second to last stitch, do an increase and finish with a normal slip stitch in the back loop only, and your second increasing row is done. You should now have 10 stitches in that row. For the next 9 rows, you're going to slip stitch in the back loop only. Again, just make sure that you're keeping the right count of stitches in your rows, so you should have 10 stitches here. And this is what it should look like. We're most of the way done. Next, we're going to decrease. So instead of increasing after that first stitch, we're going to work 2 slip stitches in the back loop only together. So start 1 and then pick up the next one in the same way and then finish them together like this. That's your decrease. And then again, you're going to work across the middle until you get to the second to last stitch, or the third to last stitch, excuse me. Go ahead and decrease again by doing the next 2 together, and then finish with 1 normal slip stitch in the back loop only. And now you're starting to close it up, round up the toe area. Chain 1 and turn, and for 3 more rows, go ahead and just simply do the slip stitch in the back loop only, again chaining 1 and turning between each one. At this point, our sole should be exactly 4 inches long. This is the size we need right here for the medium booty. And your work should look really squishy at this point, and it has kind of a knit look. You've basically created a shaped piece of ribbing that we now get to work around and start going up the sides of the booty. So to do this, we are going to start by chaining 1, and then we need to start single crocheting around the border of what we've done so far. So you're going to put a single crochet into each little ditch in between the ridges of your ribbing, just like this. Just go into it a little bit, just close to the edge. and work down the long side of the bootie by single crocheting 1 into each of those little ditches, little spaces. At the corner, you're going to work 2 single crochets. This should look like this. You should have a really nice clean edge. Then you put 1 single crochet into each stitch, so 4 at the heel here. Work 2 again at this corner, so 2 single crochets in this corner. Then you're going to work up the other long side in the same way we did the first one. And then finally, at the toe of the bootie, you are going to do 2 single crochets into the corner and then put 1 single crochet into each stitch of the toe. So in total, this is supposed to add up to 38 stitches for this size, and just finish with a slip stitch to bind together this round. Now you're set up to go up the sides of the bootie really well, but you might want to count and try this a few times to make sure you get 38 stitches when you do this. Next, you're going to flip the sole over so that that nice clean edge you made is facing away from you. And you're going to start single crocheting in the back loop only all around the bootie so that it starts to create a small basket shape. And this is how it looks at the corners. You're not doing any kind of increases at the corners now. You're just single crocheting in the back loop only with all of the stitches that you made around the sole. And it should look nice and clean and tidy. When you get all the way around, slip stitch to close this round. This is what it should look like at this point. And then from here, the sides are done in the waistcoat stitch. And in this size, you're going to do 2 rounds of the waistcoat stitch. So what this means is that you chain 1 and you do another round of single crochet, but instead of working into the tops of the stitches like we normally do, you're going to work into the middle of the stitch where it forms that V shape. This creates a really beautiful knit look, and like each stitch is coming out of the other one. So just do that all the way around. Again, you're going to work 2 rows like this. So this is rounds 1 through 3 basically of the sides. Now it's time to close up this area of the toe, and to do this you're going to look at the front of your bootie, and these stitches you're going to want to center on the front of your bootie. And so you're going to do 8 stitches, and you can skip up to 2 stitches to make sure that those are centered on the front part of the bootie. So that's why you see me skipping a few here. And you're going to work in waistcoat stitch, pulling that first stitch really tightly to close up that gap, and then just work around in each of the other stitches to get 8 stitches here. And understand that waistcoat stitch, when you work it from the back like this, it looks a little bit different than when you do it in rounds. So that might take a little bit of practice, but you work your stitches across the toe of the bootie, and with skipping stitches, you should start to see it take shape a little bit quickly. But once you do your 8 stitches, you are then going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. So go from single crocheting in the waistcoat stitch to slip stitching twice. And then you're going to turn your bootie so that now you're looking at the outside of it again. And for row 2 of this toe section, you're actually going to skip the slip stitches that you did, and then waistcoat stitch 8 stitches again. So by skipping the slip stitches, you should be back working into your waistcoat stitch from the row before. So your 8 stitches again should be going right across the middle of the toe. And then when you get to the end of this row, you're going to once again put 2 slip stitches after that. Because what you're doing here is you're pulling the stitches that you're doing flat onto the top of the booty. So you can see here where the corner kind of got started and where I finished the row of single crochet or waistcoat stitches. Then I'm going to do 2 slip stitches. And I skipped ahead here, but you are going to repeat rows 1 and 2 of that toe section for the next 6 rows. So you're going to do that 3 more times. Then when you get here, you're now going to work on the little cuff. And to do that, you just slip stitch in the back loop only around the entire opening. And then for the next row, you are going to, or the next round after that, which is really the last part of the booty, once you slip stitch to close the last round, simply slip stitch in the back loop only, chain 1, and skip a stitch. Repeat that all the way around, and what you'll end up with is an edge that looks like it's just slip stitched, but it has some little tiny holes in it for our tie, which we're going to make right now. If you want to, you can add some more rounds of slip stitching after that one, but this is where I stopped with the pattern. So once you finish that top with a slip stitch, you can go ahead and bind off. You can go ahead and weave in your ends if you want to, or wait until later. But that's our cute little Julia booty that's almost totally done. So to make the ties now, I'm just doing chain stitches. I'm just doing a length of chain stitches that is long enough to go around the booty and noting how many I do for the other one. And then I would recommend going ahead and weaving in your ends at this point, or dealing with your ends, because your very last step is to take this tie and weave it in and out of the little tiny holes that you made in your last cuff round, starting at the front. And then when you're done, you will be able to tie a cute little bow on these and see how it works on your little one, and then make the matching booty to go with it. And here's a finished pair. They turned out really cute. I know with booties sometimes it takes practice to get them to turn out the exact same size, but I think it is totally worth it. And here I am gonna go ahead and get them untied again and try them on my little one so you can see how they fit. With this smaller opening, these are meant to fit really well and not come off, especially with that tie. So they are good for your active crawlers and any baby that just likes to be on the go, but they're meant to be very comfortable as well. And there you have it. There's our finished baby booties on our actual baby, and I hope you enjoy making this project. Thanks so much for watching.